Hey everybody, we're going live today at 7:30 p.m. PST, as soon as Deacon gets here and he's had something to eat from work, because we're doing a 4-play Friday, 4 players, and how appropriately, we're playing Zelda 4 Swords. Seemingly a game that was perfectly made for the show, for 4-play Fridays. Cooperative, co-opetition sort of game where the idea looks just like the Link to the Past, as you can see there. It looks just like Link to the Past, except it's 4 players, and you're all at the same time. And here, let me show you what. If you don't know about 4 Swords, what you can do is play it. You can play one player with a GameCube, and then the other 4 players are just sort of automatic. And they work with you. You control all 4 of them at the same time in like a grouping. Or you can play 4-player, but it requires Game Boy Advances. The reason for that is because every time one guy goes into like a building or something like that, the game screen switches for him to his Game Boy Advance, so that the other people don't have to leave their screen, so he can walk around inside the cave or building or whatever, and the action can continue without anybody having to worry about it. So what I did was I went out and bought 3 Game Boy Advance SPs, the bright screen version, so that we can make out what's happening on the screen while we're playing in this bright studio. Got a pink one for Becky, a blue one for Ben, black one for Deacon because he's emo. And, excuse me. Now, what about the 4th DS? Well, I wanted it so that you guys could see my gameplay, or at least one of our gameplay when we go inside of buildings, because even when all 4 go into a building, it doesn't let the TV see what's inside the building. It still puts it all on the DSs. So oh man, I've been calling them DSs the whole time. You guys are going to be freaking out. Game Boy Advances, sorry. It's a force of habit. Anyways, so what you need is, you link them up with this, right? That's how you plug them into the GameCube. They plug into the back of them. Here, I'll show it to you. I'll put this down for a second. You just plug them in like this. This is probably nothing new to anybody who's actually done this before. And then you pop it open and it plays like that. So I'm setting that up right now. But the thing is, I want you to be able to see my screen. Get to the point. I got a second GameCube so that with the Game Boy Advance player, and I didn't even know this until somebody told me on Facebook, but it will act as a 4th Game Boy Advance. So you plug this in here, and then they all plug into the master GameCube, and then you just plug it. I don't have this is the packaging for the final. I haven't opened that yet. But once all 4 are plugged in, 1 Game Boy, 1 GameCube, 3 Game Boy Advances, then we can play and you guys can see my screen. The downside is that the chat will not be a part of this episode, because I'm replacing the chat room with my Game Boy screen. So it's going to be one of the very few, if any, episodes where you can't see the chat room during the show. But we can see the chat room. We can still see it. It's going to be in the same spot that we usually read it from. We're just probably, it's a 4-player game too, and there's only 4 of us. There's not Becky relaying the information because she's playing too, so it's not like we would be able to read the chat room as much as we usually do anyways, just like a Mario Party episode or something like that. So don't worry about it. It's not a big deal. I might bring you guys in sometimes. I can just click a button to bring you in occasionally if we're talking to you or something like that, or we need tips, or I don't know. But this will be an ongoing series because the game is quite long actually. I didn't know it was as long as it was. I think it's like a 40-hour to beat, so it's going to be a long time probably. Every time we can get Deacon to come over and play with us, then we will. We chose Deacon because of the hilarity that ensues with his inevitable incompetence. That's all for today. Join us tonight at 7:30 to watch us play this for the first time. I love you guys. See you there.